Okay.
I think we're.
Welcome to the Bangers Only conversation. I think this is number 5. I think number 5. We're sitting
the
down.
inaugural number 5.
Yeah, we're sitting down here with Mr. Kovei, Mr. Kumaresh Ishvarin. Did I say that right?
I think you did. But I also got another alias, Mr. 614, Mr. C-Bus King. Boy.
You live in Cincinnati.
I still C-Bus King. Boy, that's where I'm from.
I guess that's a good jumping off point. Why don't you talk about, where you're from? Because I think a lot of people might not know is that, well, most of us in Bangers Only are from Chicago, if not all of us. So you're a bit of the black sheep of the family here. So why don't you talk about that, buddy?
I mean, it's obvious that I'm the black sheep of the family because, like, I live in Columbus. I met Cooper through college, and me and him just, like, got a good music relationship going on there. And from there, we just made, like, a lot of music. We worked in this band called The Borders.
Right, and I went to Ohio State with Kumaresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, like, honestly, from that, there's not much else. I love Sivas. That's my home city. That's where I'm always going to be from. And that's where a lot of the music's being made right now.
What music's being made there?
Ooh, think about it. Like, you've been there, boy. There's so much of scene there. We got hip hop, we got jazz, we got rock. We got a couple of scenes going on there.
Right. So I think I met you. For those of you who don't know, I played jazz guitar for quite a long time, and Kumaresh plays jazz bass, and I forget what band it was. He was playing bass in it, and I think we linked up because we both produced on Ableton. Is that right?
Oh yeah. So the story goes like this. So I met Cooper freshman year. This boy did not talk at all in our workshop jazz band.
I can be a shy boy sometimes.
Bro, you were such a shy boy. Like, me and James would be over there just, like, chilling, being friends. And then you'd sit alone just like, I'm out. But, like...
I got two sides.
We met through there. And then what ends up happening is... sophomore year, I get called to be a sub for this combo called the Fusion Combo. And for those who don't know, combos are just basically a small band in jazz. Mm-hmm. And they were missing a bass player for a big recital they had coming up. So I jumped in and joined. And after we finished the first rehearsal before the performance, me and Cooper got to talk, and we both found out we both produce in Ableton and like hip hop a little bit.
Producing rap beats.
Mm-hmm. So, like, after that, the next day, I think we immediately went to Hughes Hall, the practice hall at OSU, and started making a beat together. And I think that kind of just, like, got us thinking, like, bro, we could actually, like, do something like this and, like, do stuff like this while we're, like, at the music school.
Yeah, and in that moment when we were, like, making those beats in Hughes, like, I kind of feel like I had a moment of, like, this is a dude I need to link up with, for sure. Like, no matter what it is we end up doing, whether it be... rap or something else. I don't know, but like, this is a person I need to be making music with in some capacity.
No, that's honestly the same thought that I had because like I recognized like the drive that you had. I was like, shit, bro, this guy's gotta be my friend. Otherwise, we're like wasting our time just making music here for one day.
Yeah, you got to put the forces together, and there was like the Music Producers Club and Freestyle Club.
Which is wild that I never saw you in Music Producers Club before we like started talking about Ableton and like Fusion.
It had a pretty big following at that time. Like, I feel like there was a lot of people, and then it like slowly diminished. Like, they started off in that big lecture hall. I forget what maybe it was. I think it was the journalism building is what they had it in, and it was a bigger classroom. Then it went into psychology building, and it was like a tiny room. And I just saw the people like get less and less and less, but.
Well, there's so many like producers who just aren't like dedicated, who just go to that club just to like see what's up, and then they're like, oh fuck, I don't really have like the skill, so I'm gonna back out.
Well, personally, I didn't see like a big enough reason to keep going. Like, I kind of took what I needed from it, and I made connections, and I met people. Like, I met Hamza, who is in a group called Salanta.
Oof, shout out Salanta.
Like half Columbus, half Atlanta based. They're fucking sick. You should check them out. I tried to sign them to Bangers Only, but they said no. But we love Hamza, and we played a show with them. Oh, and that's the other thing is me and Kumaresh were in a band called The Borders that was a bit of a hip-hop jazz band. And that was kind of your idea. Why don't you talk about where that came from?
Yeah, so honestly, the idea came to me. It was like I was kind of dissatisfied with the band I was working with previously, which was like a rock band. And I'm not like a huge
Here
rock
he goes,
fan.
dissing rock
Listen,
again.
I'm not dissing rock. Rock is a really great genre. I'm just like me as a person really just love making like groovy bass lines, and like I just didn't feel like I could do that in some of the rock bands.
You
that
ever
I was
heard of
working
the
in.
Chili Peppers, buddy?
Yeah, that's a Chili Peppers though. I'm not trying to copy the Chili Peppers, but like, so when that happened, I started like realizing there were like a lot of bands that were doing like hip hop and jazz. And I was like, I've always been big fans of both genres, and like I grew up with them. So when I found the opportunity after meeting Cooper that like he wanted to do like more hip hop stuff, and like I knew just like a bunch of people around the school that like were really fucking good musicians, I got everyone together and I was just like, we need to make a band out of this. We need to like do something quick because I'm dying over here in this other band. I need something good going on.
And I was in a different band called Sleazy Dre and the Chartreuse Caboose at the time. And I was sort of splitting my time between those bands. And either band was, I won't say out of my comfort zone, but like definitely something I hadn't really done in a band capacity before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had been in jazz bands since I don't even fucking know, like middle school, probably something like that. And
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
maybe not. Okay, maybe not middle school, but I'd always like. I don't think we even had a middle school jazz band. We'll go with high school. But you know, jazz is not the same at like fundamental jazz. You know, like big band jazz is not the same as like even like a fusion combo at all. And that's actually where the band kind of started, is fusion combo.
Yeah, no. Honestly, that is because like if you go back to it, we didn't even have like I didn't even have the idea to like do a whole like jazz hip hop band until we somehow got lucky and Professor Smith, the teacher of the fusion combo, was
shout out Mike Smith, love him, hate him.
Shout out Mike, love him. He is the best. He's the best. But like, there was one day we were all jamming in fusion combo together, me, Cooper, and a couple other people that were in that group, and for some reason we got on the topic of Terrace Martin talking about his album Velvet Portraits, which is a really good album. Y'all should check it out.
Great album.
But one of the songs in that album was sampled by Kendrick Lamar on his Pimp a Butterfly album. And I always really loved that album. And my favorite song off that is I. And I looked around the room. I was like, could I do this real quick? Could I like actually get them to play I? Because I've played the song before and I knew all the chords and everything.
For some reason, I knew it too.
Yeah, I was confused how you knew that. Like, I was like wilding over there.
I think I just wanted to learn the guitar part. I like the guitar part. And
dude,
I remember
that is like such a fortunate coincidence right there.
That's like destiny almost, I feel like.
I know, man. It was weird because like as soon as I said, do you guys know how to play I? The band was like, yeah, shit, I actually know how to play that. I was like, huh? All right, wild. Let's do it. And we started doing it. And I started rapping over it. And our teacher came in and he was like, you guys are going to perform that at the big jazz recital. And we all like lost our shit. We were like, wait, what? You're letting us do this?
That was like, very strange. Like that was you know, like you don't rap in jazz band. Just doesn't happen. Like,
yeah, no, not like a fusion combo. That was very much like a fusion between R&B, rock, and like funk from like the 70s with jazz. So like it was weird that we were doing this. But I think Professor Smith kind of realized like that album was the new type of fusion that was starting to come out now. And like he saw how interested we were in it and how like we got the band
it got us
going.
fired up. So that says something.
Yeah, no, it was
I don't
like
get fired up about maybe Brecker Brothers. Maybe some people do. Like, you know, and I
get fired up about Brecker Brothers.
Huh?
I get fired up about Brecker Brothers.
Yeah, I mean there are worse jazz bands out there, but
what, boy, you talking some blasphemy right there. You know
that was like a backhanded compliment. What do you mean? I said there are worse ones out there.
All right.
But I mean, you know, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with jazz for a lot of reasons, like coming from the rock world, and then not to like fault jazz for like its formalities and things like that, because I think that's part of what makes it what it is like this is something that can be taught on a collegiate level and, you know, whatever academic, you know, the government funds this, like there are certain rules you have to follow. But I think it was more so like a lot of the people in the program I grew to dislike. And I feel like I feel like even some of the people in our band would agree with that. Is like,
I think
there are some pretentious motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, no. That's the like problem though. Like with jazz bands, like you have those people who came into the music for the wrong reasons. They looked to come to like dominate and show how talented they are, rather than like
a lot of ego,
pull up the band.
A whole lot of ego.
Like I went like that for the like end of my senior year in high school for jazz band, because like I was a really good bass player, and like, hey, I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm just saying, like, in high school,
you are. But go on.
Shut up. In high school, there weren't like many bass players that I could compete against, because one, there's a small population usually, and a lot of them aren't that great. They don't like put in the time. So like I got that ego. But as soon as I came to like college and got to see all these like fantastic musicians and got to work with them, there's like the saying, iron sharpens iron. I kind of realized like you let go of the ego, you accept if someone's better than you in the moment, and then you sharpen your iron against it, and then like you're just as good as them, and then you keep sharpening and keep going until you're the best.
Yeah, in a way, the ego is like can be a really good thing, because I don't know. I don't want to say it's a good thing, but I will say that a lot of the greatest musicians tend to have a lot of trumpet players too. A lot of them tend to have really big egos, or maybe they're a little bit crazy. They have a couple screws loose in their head, like.
No, I agree. Having the screws loose in your head is cool. Like that, like allows you to see
mental illness. So cool.
Shut up. I'm just saying, like not viewing it from a normal standard perspective is really good.
Yeah.
But like having the ego honestly cuts you at the knees, because you're not being able to really listen to what people are doing. You start looking at it back at yourself. Your ego kills like any learning potential you got.
And this is an interesting like line of like learning and knowledge, because there is a like set path. I feel like there isn't too much to go outside the box. Like there will be those people that go outside the box. You know, the what's that dude's name? Freaking Collier, Jacob Collier. There'll be the Jacob Colliers of the world, and then things like that. But there's like for trumpet, I think specifically, there's like only like a certain set of, you know, like standard artists that you can follow, and like if you follow like the practice and you shed out the solos and you do all that stuff and you put in the practice, you're gonna get good. Like the likelihood of you like not getting good is very slim. Where and it is like I feel like the creativity is where the jazz kind of loses me a little bit, at least in some ways. Is like everything is so already put together, you know?
Well, I think you have to think about like this too. Like when you're learning at a collegiate level, there's formalities put in place just to help you facilitate learning.
Yeah.
That's not real jazz. Like what we learned in college and all that stuff, like what we did in those combos, it was training. It's not the real thing. In reality, there's so much creativity that goes into this like work. Yeah. Like you can hear it in like
different. Like it's more about like the phrasing of your solos, I feel like. But even that stuff is like beaten to death. Like every single possible way you could do this sort of thing. You could say that about any genre really, but
but jazz has that history that allowed it to like do so many different combos.
There's so much to like learn from and look at. And the people that came before you, the greats and shit, you know?
But I think that like is what caps jazz at the knees, and what like this generation has managed to overcome. Because like you got a bunch of the old heads who are like really pissed off at us younger people who are like, damn,
they just throw a dill beat on everything, and they think it sounds cool.
Okay. Yeah, and like they're getting mad at that shit, but it's like there had to be a new iteration, otherwise this genre is not going to last much longer. Like it's already like dwindling to like 2 or 3%, but then you like start to realize the only reason why it's done that is because straight ahead jazz is what people consider like jazz. But you listen to like the Huntertones, you listen to Robert Glasper, you listen to like
Terrence Martin's, Robert Glasper,
yeah. He even had like a whole like beef with one of the Marsalis brothers. Is like, yo, this shit ain't like real jazz. This is you guys dressing it up as jazz. And it's like, nah, this is real jazz. It's just a new iteration. So you know Wynton Marsalis?
Oh, okay, the Marsalis brothers, yes, correct.
Yeah. So one of the Marsalis brothers, I forget who it was, basically called out Robert Glasper and was like, yo, this isn't like jazz. But then Robert Glasper comes firing back like, no, this is jazz. Y'all just don't understand the new iteration.
I think that's very common across all genres, is like this sort of gatekeeping of like, that's not real whatever, you know, or I think that's kind of a sign that you're doing something right, is you're pissing people off.
Oh yeah, shit.
If like, you're not pissing anyone off, what are you doing? Like, you're not, it's a drop in the bucket.
You're not making anything. You're just following the same traditions that have been put forth. Traditions have been meant to be broken for like millennia.
Yeah, and back to that, To Pimp a Butterfly, like that really, I feel like in a lot of ways that really was like a precursor to the new, I don't know if neo soul is the correct term, but like sort of that new side niche of jazz that's, you know, the like Thundercat and Terrace Martin.
Yeah, all those guys running the game up in there. Like, yeah, no, I agree with you, because like I used to straight up hate hip hop. Like my genre that I grew up with was Bollywood, jazz, and like some rock. Those were like the three things that I was like listening to a lot. But then when I heard To Pimp a Butterfly, because shout out to my high school friend Robbie Gooch, because he was
shout out the Gooch.
Dude, that actually is his nickname. I met him.
That's horrific. I'm so sorry.
Dude, that was hilarious. So he wears it with pride. I met him again at a jam session yesterday. But like he put me onto the album because like he saw how interested I was in jazz, and like I was one of the few people in our jazz band that was putting in a lot of effort to be good. And he was like, "Yo, check out this album. I think it'll change your like viewpoint on hip hop." And I listened to it. And I was like, "Holy fuck, this is awesome!"
It was T-Pad?
Yeah, it was T-Pad. Like that was the first hip hop album I got into.
That's a good one. I think that was one of the ones that like kind of like piqued my interest, but I didn't like fully like buy into it until like freshman year of college, because I really started to appreciate the production and like, okay, I understand now. I get it.
I think like so. T-Pap didn't get me like completely into hip hop. It was a cool like entry point. I loved the album. I was so into it. Like when I heard All Right, I was like, this is the greatest song ever. But the one that really got me into it was Common. Like, did you ever hear his album B with him and Kanye West?
No, I thought you were gonna mention the one he did with what's Hard Groove? What is that?
I don't know that one.
It's him and Roy Hargrove.
Oh shit, I don't know that one. I gotta check that out. I didn't know he did that.
I could be totally misspeaking, but I know there's like I think it's Common and Roy Hargrove. They have an album together. There's some other rapper, I forget.
Ooh, I'll have to check that out. But like for me,
I'll look it up right now. But continue.
So like for me, I was watching the Chappelle Show one night on like the reruns that they had on Comedy Central, and they had Kanye and Common come back out in like 2004 and do the song "The Food." I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. I love like the chords and everything that go on this. And I found the album B, and I found out it was made by a guy named Jay Dilla. Now, Jay Dilla is like the godfather of hip hop and like everything that's going on with the jazz hip hop fusion. So like as soon as I heard that shit, I was like, this is where the future of jazz is going. I need to listen to this stuff. I need to like pick up on what's going on and like start moving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting like the jazz brought it in for you, because for me it was, I think I was just messing around with Ableton, and I don't think I was like intending to make rap beats. I think I was like more on like the EDM side almost. Like I wanted to make like dubstep almost, but like
oh my god, you tried to do a whole Kenny Beats like journey over there.
Kenny Beats. EDM. Oh, he went from EDM to hip hop.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. But then I realized like how I don't know. I don't want to say easy, but it felt very intuitive to like make a rap beat. Like I was like, okay, I'll do the drums, and then I'll have a melody, and then the bass, and that's kind of it. And I like was listening what was popular at the time, and you know, like whatever like popular trap, like 21 Savage, or you know, insert topical rapper here. And like a lot of these beats are so simple, like they're very just bare bones, and sometimes there isn't even a melody at all.
Oh yeah, no. But that's what like brings people in. Like I realized that like you just need like a really good drum loop, and like people are already like hooked on the beat. And then when you add like a fucking great bass line, oof, that's when the beat gets like almost hypnotic to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I was trying to find this Hargrove thing. It is Roy Hargrove, but I'm having a hard time seeing who the rapper is on it.
Bro, if it's Talib Kweli, I could believe that too.
Why isn't it just like right on the thing? Oh, it is Common.
Oh, shit.
I was right.
I gotta check this out.
Yeah. Erykah Badu's on it.
Bruh, they're bringing every heavy hitter.
Q-Tip.
Wait, Q-Tip's on it? Goddamn.
The only reason I know Q-Tip is because he's on that one Anderson .Paak song.
Which you... Bruh,
Is that Sweet
what about
Chick?
no, that's not Sweet Chick. That was BJ.
Oh, Chicago Kid.
Yeah, Chicago shit. He was on Left to Right. Is that no? He was on Cheers. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I do want to move on to some other things, but before we get off the jazz topic, what would be your top 3 like new? Let's not. I don't know. Like, do you want to do like straight up like jazz or like who's like pushing the genre forward?
How about I do one that's like straight up jazz, one that's like in the fusion realm, and then one that's pushing the genre forward for today?
Sure.
I think that'll give people a good breath.
We'll do a nice variety.
So for straight up traditional ones, I'm either going to say Blue Monk or listen to, what's the album?
You mean the Thelonious Monk album?
Yeah, the Thelonious Monk album. What's the album Giant Steps is on? X blanking on me all of a sudden. Is that the Atlantic Records?
Isn't it just called Giant Steps?
I think so. Maybe. Just look up Giant Steps by... Actually, no. Fuck that. Don't listen to Giant Steps. Giant Steps is a good song, but if you want, like...
Trying to vibe somebody?
Nah. That's when you want to vibe somebody. But, like, if you want quality Coltrane, listen to the album Blue Train. That's my favorite by him.
Yeah, I love Blue Train.
For fusion stuff, I'd say anything by like, the Yellow Jackets or anything by the Brecker Brothers. Like, literally is God tier for me. And then finally, like the album that's pushing the genre forward, it's a toss-up between Hunter Tones and Black Radio.
I never heard of Black Radio.
Black Radio is by Robert Glasper.
Oh, okay. Got you. Cool.
But those are the ones that I'd recommend to people.
Yeah, so what I want to get to next is like, so there, like we talked about the Borders. To quickly go over the Borders one more time is like the Borders was... guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and did I say bass? Bass.
Yeah.
And then a 4-piece horn section. So basically, we were playing.
We made that band and knew we weren't going to make any money because of how big that was.
Yeah, you're already shooting yourself in the foot with eight fucking members. Like, not even worth it. But that's another point. We were playing like contemporary hip hop songs, but with a jazz flair, and kind of, and we would play like some like cool jazz. I'll say cool jazz, so like Hunter Tones, and then
that was you put in the wrong genres on that. I just say like contemporary jazz. Just go with that.
But you know what I mean? Like that to me, that jazz is like hip.
Yeah. But like cool jazz is like there's actually like a genre within jazz called cool jazz. You gotta like
Miles Davis, Birth of the Cool.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, see, this is where it loses me. Like, I don't like this shit makes no sense to me. Like, there's bebop and hard bop.
Bro, hard bop.
Where's Easy Bop?
Easy Bop never existed. Imagine a Kids Bop album with all the jazz hits on it.
Yeah, it's coming. So anyway, yeah, like hip hop, and we had like a jazz flair to it, and kind of like picking the songs where we could that already had this arrangement ready to go. So it would be like a lot of Mac Miller songs that had horns in them, and then there's some Kendrick. We do For Free off To Pimp a Butterfly. I love playing that one. And then I was like our signature song that we stopped playing because we got sick of playing it. But you know, I was like looking back on some of our stuff like in preparation for this earlier, and like I was like, God damn it! I wish we were playing again, and I wish we were playing
Dude,
because that would be such a glorious like. Return,
dude. Once the pandemic's over, like it'll be a lot easier for like any of that shit to happen.
Fingers crossed for that Pfizer vaccine, eh?
Yeah, bro.
90%, huh? Good news.
Wait, 98%? I heard 90.
90. I said 90.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're, as far as like the songwriting goes in the Borders, I'd say like the actual composition of the tunes like kind of fell on either you or me. It was kind of half and half, at least for the EP we had. And then the horn stuff was usually arranged by Andrew, our tenor sax player, and then other small contributions from other members of the group. But I wanted to ask, like, what makes a Borders song? What makes a Kovei song? Where does that drop off?
I think it's when I bring in the Indian influence, because like a Borders is straight up just jazz and hip hop. No other like big genres are like mixing in there. But for me, like I think now as Kovei, I'm realizing like
I'm also just realizing when you said Kovei sounds very close to COVID.
I know, bro. I hate
Kovei.
Bro, I'm not gonna win in this marketing campaign I got going on for this.
I will ruin you. Okay.
I thought you were supposed to help me.
Yeah, that's my job.
But basically, for Kovei songs, what I've like slowly started to realize is I really love a lot of the stuff that Indians produce now. Like every Bollywood song, every like Tamil song that like my mom had me listen to as a kid, I still love them to this day. And I love the drum beats, and I love the flutes, and I love the sitar. So I started bringing those in and mixing it with the jazz, the hip hop, and putting in a little Indian flair. Because I don't know, I think what happened was I saw this musician named Anik Khan, who's also another like Desi American killing it right now.
Can you explain to the people what a Desi is for those who don't know?
So Desi is basically someone from the subcontinent, someone who's from Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, any of like the brown countries. And it's just kind of like a thing of like we're brothers and sisters. Like the skin color is not rubbing off. We're here. We're Desis. We're living our lives.
Oh yeah. So what was it like? Go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish this one. So like to get back on it, Anik Khan said like his music's like the UN, and I could hear it in his shit because he mixed a lot of Afro beats with Indian beats and like created this like fantastic genre. So like that's all I've been doing with Kovei now. I've been like really trying to bring out the Indian in me, so that way I'm representing my country as a UN sort of type of music rather than just creating the same stuff.
You say UN, you mean like, what do you mean by that?
Like the United Nations.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So what was it like growing up in India? Like, what kind of music were you exposed to growing up?
So I didn't get the chance to like grow up in India. Like I went back and forth between India and America, like for the beginning times of my childhood. But like, it was weird because like I spoke perfect English, like regardless of like where I was. But like when I came back to America from like times I've been in India, they'd immediately put me in like ESL, saying like, no, he doesn't know how to speak English, even though, as you can clearly see, that is very much opposite of that. And
well, like, I'm glad you think things.
Okay, all right, you bastard. But like, I don't know. It was just like a lot of like culture shock because I'd go and be with a lot of my white friends, a lot of my black friends in elementary school, and we all be chilling. We were all like pretty cool people. But like when you bring up something that's like straight up Indian, like, oh, have you guys ever had biryani, or have you guys like had a mango lassi? They'd be very confused by that. Or if it like was at home, my parents just never understood any of like the pop culture stuff I was talking about.
Yeah.
But like,
what is this crazy shit you're bringing home?
Yeah, they're just like that. I think it really just like, it was just a mix of culture shock and a lot of xenophobia, because like that, I think that was like all post 9/11 too. So like a lot of kids were still like not feeling the brown population that much. So it was a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's something I really like about not only the Borders music, like, but also Kovei music is like you do kind of shine a light on that stuff and draw those influences in, and it's not something that gets talked about a lot, at least in the Indian respect. You know, you'll hear a lot about being black and proud, but and then it's not to say that that's like so indifferent than what you're saying.
Nah, it comes from the same like root.
It's
just like
personal.
It's just like different peoples around the world are experiencing that.
Right, and I can't really think of much of any mainstream artist who is like in hip hop that is Indian, like that is very big. You know, there's you said Anik Khan, which I really like a lot, but he's still like very
he's still like not like big.
Yeah. And is Abby the Nomad too, or?
Yeah, I'll be the Nomad too. He's getting pretty big. Like people are noticing him. I think he has like usually around 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is really good. Especially since he has no label. He does everything himself.
You don't need a label except my label. We're not a label. We're a group.
Mm-hmm.
Media group.
Well, New Rockhampton. Here we go.
That was the way I wanted to market the Borders too, but like we never quite got to that point because of coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a lot of cool stuff planned.
We were on the steps to that because we were like trying to get more people in the group to rap and like switch up what they were doing, so they weren't just being a horn player, or they weren't just being a bass player, or they weren't just being.
And
a
that's something
player.
I really truly have not seen. Is like this arrangement of a band and then also doing all these other things. Like that would blow the roof off houses.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. No, people love a band. It's cool when you have like backing tracks and stuff like for regular hip hop.
Is it cool?
It's not cool.
It's not cool. We all know it's not cool. Let's stop pretending it's cool.
No, it's not. Like it's just boring what like a lot of mainstream artists do. They'll just like literally be like, "All right, I'm here to perform my songs." Say 2 lines from the song and then leave. And it's like
it's insane. It's actually nuts.
Like that's like actually scamming people out of their money. In like all honesty.
Like I saw Ski Mask, and I loved Ski Mask. Like I was a big fan. Like, and he was literally playing like a minute of each song. Like he wouldn't even get to the second verse, and I'm like, dude, like what? Like, this isn't punk rock. Like this isn't like you're not like speeding the show along. You're not trimming the fat. Like you're just robbing it of all substance. I don't understand why this is such a thing. Like,
and that's honestly why I wasn't like a huge fan of hip hop in the beginning, because I was just like I'd see these shows and I'm like, bruh, this is like boring as fuck. Like I love the songs on record, but like if I see the shows, it's like, why am I invested in this culture? But then you like slowly start to realize like that's just like a certain sect of like the community. There's like a ton of people who are like, nah, I'm giving people the money that they pay for. I'm out here working hard. And that's where I saw Kendrick doing that shit, or like Chance the Rapper. Like they were giving it their all because they loved it.
Not to say that it's like bad to use like backing tracks, because like
no, it's not bad. It's just like just don't rob people of like the cool experience of being at a concert. If you're using backing tracks, figure out a way to use that shit to like your advantage. Now I can't say shit about that because like I don't use backing tracks usually. Like and when it comes to like me performing live as Kovei only, I don't know how I'm gonna do that, if I'm gonna do backing tracks or if I'm gonna get like
to some degree you almost have to a little bit because of all the layers and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But what I don't like is like when you'll have the backing track literally louder than the vocalist, and the vocalist is drowning, and like you'll like hear them singing underneath it, and it sounds terrible. And it's like, wow, why am I here?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It's silly. I wish we could get away from that, but it kind of looks like it might be here to stay for a little bit.
Which is wild, because like I'm like wondering where that even popped up from, because like you look at like everyone back earlier in the 2000s, I don't think they did that shit. I think they just played the beat without the lyrics.
I mean, lip syncing was certainly a thing. Like there was that whole was it Liza Minnelli got exposed?
Oh really? I don't know about this shit.
For lip syncing. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, why are you even going to a live show if you're not like wanting to hear all the mistakes and all the little imperfections and whatnot? Mm-hmm. That's what makes it magical, and that's why I'm so excited to get back on the stage. Is like, I'm never going to take this shit for granted ever again,
dude. Like, never in my life. Like, I went to a jam session. I played on a couple people's recitals, and like the time that I'm just like waiting to like see some more gigs, because like also when you're new in town, being in a pandemic does not help trying to find musicians. So like I'm doing all these small gigs, and I'm just like realizing like, man, I fucking miss playing with people. That's how I connect. Like it's who I am. Music is my language.
There is nothing like it, and like for the people that have not experienced it, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's a better pleasure. I'm
gonna be honest. Like the moment when you connect with the other musician on like a groove level and create something magical, that's just better than sex somehow. Like I'll be honest.
Like when you're like so there's like levels of jamming, right? Like there's the surface level, and then if it gets to a point where it's like you've entered this other jam dimension, and the musicians, if there's anyone even listening to this, if the musicians know what I mean by this. Is like there's a point where you like slip into this. It's kind of like when you're running and you run so like if you run a good amount and a good distance, you like enter this other dimension where you're not you and you're just running. You're not thinking about anything. It's called
the pocket, boy. When you get in that pocket, that's when just everything changes.
Not necessarily like the rhythm pocket, but just like this other music realm, and you're just nothing else matters. There's that part is my favorite, and then just the crowd. Anything crowd related, crowd reception is like. There's nothing better than people.
That's why I honestly love our shows too, because like people showed out for those concerts, like especially with like Your Help. Like aside from the Wall of Death, I'm gonna be honest, the Wall of Death scared me every goddamn time.
Dude, but that was why our shows were memorable, because we did stuff like that.
I'll admit this, like you got the like people energized and hype, and I love that. Like being able to just have like a receptive crowd was like always the best part.
You got to get them fired up, and you kind of got to like ham it up a little bit, because if you don't look like you're having fun and you don't look like you're enjoying yourself and you're feeling the music,
they're not going to enjoy it.
They're not going to enjoy it. It's as simple as that. Like you have to buy it yourself.
No, I agree with you. And like I think it also just came from the fact that people hadn't seen like a band like ours before, like that often. Like there's only like a couple examples I can think of that did like a full jazz hip hop band. Like The Roots is one. Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals, but they're like more of a small group. And then like I guess the Hunter Tones are a little mix of like R&B and hip hop, but they don't like do any rapping. It's very much mainly instrumental.
Yeah. Nothing quite. I don't mean to like toot our own horns, as you said, but I don't think there was anything quite like that. But yeah, so you're rapping in like both of these different projects. And obviously Kendrick's a big influence and Chance is a big influence. So what would you say are your like top rappers that kind of creep into your style?
Oof. All right. I'm going to have to say like, so I've noticed this a lot that like, cause I was actually practicing my singing along with Childish Gambino, and I like noticed like shit, I kind of sound a little bit like Childish in terms of his like flow and stuff. And like, I'm trying to step away from that a little bit.
There are worse people to sound like.
Oh yeah, no,
you could sound like Nav.
I agree. But like my whole thing is like I don't want to be biting off of people's styles. I only want to be building up from it. Yeah. So like I have to be careful about that. But
you got to start off at like, you know, you got to wear your influences on your sleeve a little bit in the beginning, you know?
No, I agree. But like Childish, Kendrick, Anik Khan, Abhi the Nomad, and then this fucking killer dude from Sri Lanka who's like a Toronto native. His name's Sean De Vincent Paul. I love his shit. I've shown you a couple of his songs. You know the songs where it's just like Indian drums going on and some dude rapping over it? That's Sean De Vincent Paul.
That was cool.
But like those are my guys. Like I try and look at every little aspect, because to me like African American music and Indian music are like this. They're very connected. Yeah. Because first of all, if you like, so there was a story where when World War II was over and the United States wanted to propagandize itself and get like a ton of people around the world on their side so they'll be capitalist instead of communist, they sent jazz as like the propaganda maker. And these jazz musicians landed in India for a gig. They're out in Goa, and they were like talking to the local Indian musicians who were playing, and they realized like, shit, both of us improvise and both of us are like very technical about our music skills. And that's where like the brotherhood and like the birth of it just came together.
Music transcends everything.
Like you could be from the most remote place. You could be from like Greenland. Greenland's not that remote. Iceland.
Greenland's pretty remote.
All right.
It's right up there on the globe. What do you mean?
All right. Whatever's the most remote. You could be from there, and you can be from like Antarctica. Let's say just some remote country. And you could be from the hottest fucking place in India. And there'd still somehow be a connection to music, because humans are uniquely similar in terms of what makes them love to sing, what makes them love to dance, what makes them love to create these compositions.
And I've kind of thought about this recently. It's like music and love are kind of the same thing. They share all the same properties.
No, because like think about it. So like music wasn't like really done mainstream until like the church and like the temples and all the synagogues and everything started incorporating it into like their hymns to talk to God. Yeah. It's almost messianic. Like they used it to converse with God. And then we blasphemized that shit and turned that into secular music. But like it's really the similarity. Like your love for God was expressed through music. Our love for music and everything humanity is expressed through music.
It can make you feel so many different things too, and like like think about sad music for example. Like I don't think it can make you feel more sad. I think it can be susceptible to that, but I think the true benefit of that is like a catharsis.
Catharsis, man.
Catharsis. Yes, that's the word. Kind of knowing you're not alone in that, and it's kind of a release almost. And that's part of why I like metal music too. I'm not an inherently angry person by any means. I have a very nice life, but
there's a reason why metal music's so cool. It's because of the fact, and I like realized this when you took me to that Beartooth concert.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just being able to talk about your feelings and emotions, and like being able to let it all go. I think that's the main thing. And like metal music's about the catharsis. With hip hop and jazz, it's more about
introspective. At least I think now it is. It used to not be.
Like for hip hop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's introspective. Meanwhile, you go to like a Beartooth concert and it's like cathartic.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's like I don't think there is a genre out there that can match that level of intensity and energy on like all accounts of the performance. I don't think it's out there. Like the hardcore scene specifically is like it's almost less about the music and more about just the sense of community and sense of just we're all family and that we're here because this is what we connect on. This is where we find our common ground. We all come from different parts of whatever and we come together on this one thing. And that's music in general too. But I feel like the hardcore is a bit more tight-knit community. But and that you see a little bit more of that in hip hop with not so much what I was talking about like with community, and not to say there's no community, but like the emotional side of it and the introspectiveness. Like we talked with Jackson on the other podcast about how it's like becoming a lot more accepted to show your emotions in rap, and it used to be all about like rapping about how much money you had and how many bitches you had, and now you have like Juice WRLD, Lil Peep, like stuff like that, and emo rap is really becoming a thing.
Yeah, and I think like honestly that like talking about your feelings thing came from like conscious hip hop back then too, because like you're right, a lot of hip hop was about like posturing, but like you listen to, like conscious rap like Common, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, they like talked about their feelings, but it was just like instead of framing it in like the normal way that like a lot of emo rap does today, it's more about like the frustrations a community feels as a whole.
Yeah, honestly, and that makes sense because that was before I like really bought into rap. Like those were the rappers I actually really liked, like Mos Def and Tribe Called Quest, Talib Kweli. Those were the ones that I kind of I was one of those people who's like, I don't like new rap. I just like old school like Wu-Tang and whatever else. Like that's what I like. But that makes sense.
Well, I think it's because like people can relate to that easier when it's talking about it like a community's frustration. Like that's how I related to hip hop, because like I was not like a gangbanger or anything such as that as a kid.
Oh
like,
yeah,
imagine me. No,
could have fooled me.
But like I don't know. For me, like my life's always been about the Indian community. My life's always been about like the worries that we face as a community, whether it be like the racism we face or like the intercolorism that we got going on. But like there's a lot going on in the Indian community, and like being able to see like another community, the Black community, talk about those issues and being able to relate to them, that's what like drew me in.
And it's good that you actually have like that substance to rap about, because there's a lot of rappers just rapping nonsense, like braggadocious nonsense. And it's like, what's the end goal of this? Like, that's kind of my issue with a lot of rap is I don't know that a lot of this stuff is going to stand the test of time. Is this going to hold up in 10 years? Because you think about, I think this is such a crazy example to think of is how dated dubstep became. It is unbelievable because think back to 2010, like Skrillex.
Oh my God, every kid was on that shit.
That was like cutting edge at the time. And that was like the new thing, and everyone bought into it. And it was seemingly over just as quickly as it began. Like, I don't know that really lasted more than
maybe like 4 years,
2 or 3 years, like at its peak. Like, by 2015, I think people were kind of done with it.
Yeah, I mean, because like the songs just sounded the same to a point.
And there's only so many sonic places you can go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I think people went to EDM in the first place, was like, I can only achieve so many sonic sounds with a band setting.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I was trying to say about, a lot of this newer rap is like, I kind of feel like some of it's going to look like dubstep looks now.
Oh yeah, no. Like you're gonna hear like what Lil Pump and like all the little
that specifically
is gonna be like so outdated. Like no one even listens to Lil Pump anymore. There was like one song, and then that was it.
He literally had one song,
and
then he started supporting Trump and.
Bruh, I did not see that coming, honestly.
It seems pretty on brand to me, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
To be fair, I didn't pay attention to Lil Pump.
He's a Harvard dropout, for crying out loud. At least he says so. That's what his album says.
Nah, that's Lil Tay.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was, like, in quarantine, like, how has your like song making process changed? Like, if it has changed at all?
Not really. It's honestly just been like a boost to me, because like as soon as quarantine hit and as soon as I was done with college, I immediately was just like, all right, here's the schedule. Wake up, code my side project, go practice jazz for like 2 or 3 hours.
You developing an app, buddy?
I was doing it as just like practice because I was like going into the workforce and stuff.
Hopefully it's a new dating app.
Shut up.
Hinge 2.0.
Bruh, I could never top Hinge.
You should be a developer for Hinge.
I just fucked that shit up. I'd be like, you guys look like you're gonna be a happy couple. Fuck that. You meeting the girl.
You just like completely destroy the algorithm. Like just like make it completely fucked up.
Bruh, anytime you have like the perfect match, like we find the stats is like 100% you guys are like similar in everything. I'm like, fuck that shit. Y'all are gonna be happy. I'm gonna match you with the one that's 50%.
As if anyone is happy from Hinge. I've had my fair share of Hinge dates, but that's another story.
I heard about those. But what was the question that you asked? I got a lot.
Like song process, like during quarantine.
So nothing really changed. It was more just like more output. Like once I had time and once I had brain space free to like actually focus on like just making my own stuff and not like focus on the borders or focus on school, I was just like making beats the entire time, practicing jazz and like coding side stuff like that. I think that's really like what's made me a lot more productive than the normal person in like quarantine, because like now I have like a bunch of beats, not all of them good, but like a bunch of beats that I can like either hone my skills on or like actually use as a song for something I want to do.
Yeah, and even when you're just making beats and like even if you don't know if they're gonna go anywhere, you're at least like even subconsciously honing your craft through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've made like terrible fucking beats, but like those terrible beats have led me to like the songs I'm putting on my EP now.
Exactly. So when are we hearing more Kovei music? We only have one song from you, buddy.
You're right. Well, all I can say about this is expect something in the beginning of 2021. We already have got a wrap on the recording of it. It's now we're just moving into like the mixing process.
How many songs are we talking?
We're talking 4 songs, but I'm not gonna let the people just nibble on those 4 songs for another year. We're gonna be coming with a ton of music out in 2021.
Okay. Mm-hmm. COVID.
Bro, you're trying to really destroy me in the fucking marketing, aren't you?
I mean, the stock market can only take so many plunges, right?
You're right.
Yes, I do want to talk like the song that is out, Solitude. Mm-hmm. What's the story behind that song? How'd that come about? What's the meaning behind it?
Oh shit! So Solitude, basically. So one night I was creating this like really heavy horn hitting song because like y'all can tell, like especially from like anyone who's listened to The Borders, horns and bass are my favorite thing ever. Like there's nothing that beats it.
Very horny individual.
All right, cool. I really appreciate that fun. But so for me, like I was creating this like really happy horn based song, but like I realized during that entire process, I was really like feeling like depressed. Not from anything that was currently going on in my life, but it like reminded me of a time back in junior year where like my whole friend situation, my whole like connecting with people just like got thrown off, and I like didn't know who I could trust. I didn't know who was really on my side, and I didn't know who I could call up, because every time I tried to call someone, no one was picking up the phone, and everything was just like silent for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I made Solitude, I was like, I want to talk about this story again, because I feel like people don't talk about it enough. Like, you can go through depression and have friends, but like the worst type of depression that you can go through is the depression where you feel so completely alone, and it almost feels validated because no one's by your side. No one's like running through the gates.
You're like I should feel this way because if I see what's around me.
Yeah, and it's not like I had clinical depression or anything. It was just like a depression from that like event in my life where I just had no one to talk to and no one to call up besides like my family. And like when you listen to the song, you kind of hear like the parts of me that was like, where is everyone gone? Like, where are all the people that were like in my corner like the year before?
Yeah.
And they're all back in my corner again. We're all like friends. It was just like, it was stuff outside of my control that caused that situation. And then that's how the song was made.
Yeah. Who produced that song?
So I came up with the beat, and then Brad Ritchie, Supersize Beats, recorded, mixed, and engineered it. Like, y'all, if you want someone that's great at producing songs and like great at beat making, go to Brad. He is a cool person to work with. One of my close friends, and like honestly, I would not be where I am right now making music. Honestly, trying to make music as a career without him.
The only downside is that he's ginger.
He's got no soul.
Literally none. So don't try to make any R&B or soul with him because it's just going to be a disaster.
Bro, I just fucked up. I made an R&B song.
Yeah, man. I love that song. I think that song is great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It just bumps. I do have one qualm with it, though. You know what my qualm is, though?
What's the qualm?
I played guitar in that song, and it was removed at the last fucking second.
Listen. Cooper has this grudge against me because I had to remove the guitar at the last fucking second because, like, we just couldn't find a way to fit it in. Even though, like, it really was working well. It was just, like... Like, I just don't know what happened. We just couldn't.
Even though it worked very well, we removed it.
All right, listen. But listen, Cooper's gonna be on another song that I've got for him. I still got to get him those chords.
I mean, maybe if you pencil me in, I am very busy. I have lots of studio time booked with people much more famous than you.
You're right. Okay?
Yeah, cool. Maybe I'll hop in a song.
Wow. Really appreciate that. Grace me with your fucking presence on the beat.
So tapes coming out, I would say early 2021.
Yep.
Early 2021, and more music coming out. Well, thank you for coming today. I do have 3 last rapid fire questions that I thought might be fun.
All right, let's go for it.
Someone just called me. Okay, I think it's still working. Oh, Bryce tried to call me. Go away, Bryce. So there's 3 of them, and it's gonna be like top like list of all time. So it's okay. I'm gonna go. You're just gonna answer them quickly, like off the dome.
All right.
Top 5 bands or artists ever.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's 3 bands.
I hate you. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Parliament Funkadelic. Bootsy Collins.
Stop calling me. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Bootsy Collins. Who else do I got? Tyler, the Creator. Miles Davis. And John Coltrane.
Okay, solid. Top 5 albums.
Top 5 albums. To Pimp a Butterfly. Blue Train. Bertha Cool. Around Midnight. And
2 Davis albums.
2 Davis albums. And then, let me think. Black Swan by Smino.
Okay. And here, the last final one. Top 5 songs.
Top 5 songs. Let's see. Brown and Lovely.
It's a good one.
Not Freestyle. Code Switch.
Naming all of our band songs.
Yeah. Code Switch.
Well, they are the best songs, so I can't really blame you.
Yeah, no, I'm not blaming myself here either. Listen to I Want to Know, and then what else? What other song do we got on there that I'm missing?
Grease.
Yeah, Grease. One of the fire songs on there.
Cool, that's a good list. And while you said that, I was thinking it might be fun to do a border Zoom podcast.
Bro, yes.
If they get everyone on this, it'd probably be a disaster, but
Nah, it doesn't matter. Fuck it, we going Acapulco on this shit.
hell yeah! All right, well, thank you, Mister Kovei.
You're really trying to ruin me on the marketing. I hope you know that.
Tuning in. I think this was a very good discussion, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you're watching it out there, there you are.
Shouts to Bangers Only.
Bangers Only Records. Forever.